today we are joined by Melissa Lamson. She's the CEO and founder of Lamson Consulting, who knows exactly how to bridge that gap with her global knowledge and expertise. So Melissa, thanks for joining us today. Tell us, what is global leadership development?
So global leadership development is really how do we get leaders globally savvy about understanding business and how to do business in different contexts in other countries around the world.
And do you think it's more of a personal initiative, or is it a business strategic decision that people take?
Oh yeah, that's a really good question. I really think it's both because, and I think people underestimate this in companies, in that leaders are the people who are making the key decisions about the strategy for an organization or a company, right? So if they personally don't have the knowledge or the skills or the understanding about how to do business globally, those decisions may not be as savvy as they could be. So I think it's really important for them to personally develop their global skills in order to be able to then dictate the strategy better within an organization. Studies show that culture influences our behavior about 70% of the time.
Wow.
And so actually I've been doing this about 18 years, so I would say that statistic could be even higher.
Okay.
In working around the world. And
so you've seen that change over the years.
Right, and seeing how people act.
Okay, and how does your company help with this?
So we do exactly that. We help leaders, individuals, teams, companies become savvy at working across cultures. So we call it cultural awareness training or consulting or coaching, both from the strategic side as well as the individual behavioral side.
And does that include, like, do you have to travel abroad, or how does it work when you train?
So both. Sometimes the individuals or the teams will come to me or us, and many times I also travel abroad. I've had the privilege of being able to work in over 40 different countries and really feel as though I have an insider view on many, many cultures. And so that's helpful when I get to be in the environment, because I also get to learn from the people there.
And do you think it's different for different countries? Do you use the same training methodologies, or is it different?
Oh, that's also a good question. So as I also help my clients do, I also have to do this myself, and that is adapt the training methodology in each country. So where you can expect Europeans and Americans to jump in and sort of contribute and say whatever they want, whenever they want, and argue and discuss with the training. In other parts of the world, people are a little more reticent to just jump in and ask questions or even argue or discuss with me as the presenter or the trainer. So I have to make sure that I find other ways to get people to participate actively in the training so that we can still make it interactive. And
is it mostly culture-based, or what is it that's different?
The way that people interact or communicate. Yeah, it's absolutely cultural. There are some cultures that feel as though they need to be invited to speak or participate, and they also find it to be very rude if they disagree or say no or argue in a situation. And then there are other cultures that say, oh, that's actually a sign of respect to argue with you and discuss with you and tell you that I don't agree. The most important thing for a global leader to keep in mind is that they have handlers, I guess, for lack of a better word, around them. So that their communication people, their HR people, their assistants, all of them are really prepping them and preparing them with information and content that helps them make decisions or helps them make a presentation or communicate messages. If their people around them aren't globally savvy, then the content with which they have to make decisions about or present or message isn't necessarily going to be globally savvy. So the first thing I would do if I was a global leader is I would first of all, assess my whole surrounding, the folks that are going to help me do business successfully and make sure that I'm running where I need to run, making sure that they all have a global mindset as well.
Okay, anything else that we need to keep in mind?
I think listening, doing more listening than speaking, and spend time in other countries, not just flying first class, getting out of the plane, being at the company, going to the 5-star hotel, but really spend time and go to people's homes, meet people's families, and ask questions and learn about that culture, and that'll really give you insight into how business works there as well.
Wow, that feels like a lot of information to take in one interview, and especially for people who are doing business globally. There are so many key elements that we need to keep in mind in doing that business and making sure it runs smoothly. Thank you so much for sharing your insight and joining us today.
You're watching America's first South Asian TV talk show. Don't go away. Women Now will be right back.